Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Just Daf. Today's Daf is Nedarim, Daf Nun, number 50. Today we're going to talk about Rabbi Akiva a lot and his famous story with his father-in-law, Kalba Savua, which a lot of it was mentioned already in Masechah Subos, but there are some unique additional details. I'm going to talk about people that are ugly. And that's what I'm going to focus on during Ian with Ben Zion. Let's get started. The third line, Nunam and Aleph. Rabbi Akiva, Barte, the Kalba Savua, he got engaged to the daughter of Kalba Savua, who was one of the wealthiest men. Now, don't think of a secular man. He was probably a big Talmud Chacham, as we'll see later on in the story. Akiva was, in the beginning of his life, an Am Haaretz. He really didn't even know Aleph Beis. So he's upset that his distinguished daughter would be marrying someone who's an Am Haaretz. Shama Kalba Savua heard that his daughter got engaged to him. Adra Hana Mikol Nichse. He forbade, I think, Rabbi Akiva and his daughter from getting benefit from any of their property, any of his property. Azla Beit Nasibale Besito. Nonetheless, she got married to him in the winter. Havagani Beit Tivne. They were living, I guess, in a tent or something that was straw. Havakamankala Tivna Mazia. The straw got in the hair of his wife. He would take out the straw. Amar La, he told her, if I had money, I'd buy you a fancy necklace, a fancy crown called Yerushalayim Azav. It's mentioned in Masechah Shabbos. It's basically a crown that says Yerushalayim on it. Some people have necklaces also that say Yerushalayim on it, made out of gold. Try to placate her. Eliyahu came to their tent. He appeared as a man. He knocked on the door. Amar Lahu, Havuli Porta. The Tivna, I need a little bit of your straw. The Yalad is Isi, Relesli Madam Laguna. My wife just had a baby, and I need something to support my wife. She can lay down comfortably. I'm going to be Akiva Linsasi. When this person came, Akiva said to his wife, Chazi Gavr Dafilu Tivna Lo Islay. We're not so poor after all. This guy didn't have straw. We have plenty of straw. Chazi Gavr Dafilu Amrullah Zil Habibe. She said, this is not going to make me happy. We're living a poor lifestyle. At least go fit the lifestyle. Go to the yeshiva and learn. Azdal Tartis Shnin, like he says in the Gemara in Ksubas, he went for 12 years. Kamei Derelezer Rabbi Yeshua. He learned from his primary rebbeim, Relezer and Yeshua. Mishlam Tartis Shnin. When 12 years had passed, Ka'asal Lebeisa, he came back to his house. Shalom Ben Achori Beisa, he heard from behind his house. Takamar Lachad Rosh Lebeisao. A certain Russia, the Gemara calls here in Russia, said to the wife, Shaper Avidla Achavuch. It was good that your father forbade you from his estate. First of all, this guy is not in your socio-economic status, caste. I mean, he's from a lower level. He was a Garrett, Rabbi Akiva. He's not somebody that should be in your class system that you would marry. But not only that, he left you in Almana while you're still alive. Kulin Shnin. All these years that he's away. Amrulay, she said to the Russia, if you would listen to me, I would let him go back another 12 years. Amar, Rikiva, when hearing this, so just give me permission. I'll go back to yeshiva. He was there for another 12 years learning. Also, Alpin Zuge Talmide. When he came back after 24 years, he had 24,000 sets of Talmid Chachamim. I guess that'll be 48,000. Nafa Kule Amala Ape. Everyone came out to greet him. He was famous. Rabbi Akiva, the Gadol Ador. V'afki Kamat Lamepak La'ape. Even his wife. Now, his wife of 24 years ago. Now, I don't know what age she got married at, but even if she got married at the age of 18, that means she'd be 42 years old. I don't know how many kids Rabbi Akiva had. He wasn't with his wife. Sounds like early in the marriage he left, right? The first winter they were there, they had problems with straw. There was not enough warmth over there. Go to yeshiva. I need all the straw for myself. Especially if you have the straw to somebody else. Joking. Amar Lara Ahorashia, where are you going? He's not going to pay attention to you. He's Talmud Chacham. He doesn't care about women, even their wives. Amrulay, she said back to me, a tzaddik, even he recognizes his physical, materialistic desires. And I'm a woman, he has materialistic desires for me. Like, she went to be seen in front of him. She was obviously afraid to approach him and say, "Hi, I'm your wife." The ones with the gray hairs now. Kamadchan l'Rabbanan. The Rabbanan pushing her away with her hands. I don't know. Amalun hanichuli. When he saw this, he said to the Talmidim, "Sheli v'shalachem shala." Leave her. Now it's interesting to know he didn't say anything to his wife. "Hello, dear, honey, come over here. Let me give you a big hug." No, he said, "Alichula, let her." What? Your wife? Come on. Sheli v'shalachem shalahi shalahu. What my Torah and your Torah belong to her. Shama Kalba Savua. Kalba Savua heard about this big Talmid Chacham come to the town. Asav Itchel al Nidre. He wanted to matter his nether. He regretted. He didn't know this is Rabbi Akiva. Vishtari. And Rabbi Akiva, the Gemara in Ksubos recounts that he found out while he was in matter nether that it was Rabbi Akiva. He mattered his nether, and then he became mutter to benefit him and his wife. Rabbi Akiva and his wife became permitted to benefit from the huge estate of Kalba Savua. Minshis Mili Idar Rabbi Akiva, the Gemara records Akiva was a wealthy man. From 6 different ways he got his wealth. Min Kalba Savua, one from his father-in-law. He bought him a nice apartment in Ramat Eshkolman. Ela the Sphinxa. Ela the Sphinxa is a hart, H-A-R-T. That's a male deer. They used to have a wooden male deer at the head of every ship they used to build. It was for good luck. The Chol Sphinxa Avila Min Ena, and they used to fill that heart with gold coins. Zimna Chada, Anshuya al Kefiyama. One ship they forgot it. Asahu Ashkechai. And he found they abandoned their ship. They didn't like the ship anymore. They went for a different ship. They went for the yacht. They went for a bigger yacht, the mega yacht. They had enough with the old ships with the hearts on them. He found this heart filled with gold coins. He became rich. Another thing which made Rabbi Akiva rich, Umin Gavuza, the Zimna Chada Yav Arba Zuzi Lisfunai. One time he was going on a ship. He said, "I have 4 coins. Give me something for 4 coins. Give me something valuable for 4 coins. Maybe a can of Coke or something like that." Amar Lahu, Aisili Midam. I'm giving you 4 coins. Bring me something. Lashkuchu. They didn't find anything. Ela Gavaza Al Kefiyama. They found a chest, metal chest, on the seashore. Asiu Alei. They said, "Here, take this metal chest." They didn't think it was filled with gold coins. Amar Alei, Avid Marna Aleh. Take this. Right. Ishtakach the Havamili Dinre. They found out that it turned out that this buried treasure chest was full of gold coins. The Zimna Chada Tavas Svina Makuli Iska Havamachid Bahu Gavaza Veshach Bahu Zimna. There was one time a ship, right? It was a shipwreck. It was on a ship, this treasure chest. And they had all people's assets to use in a business venture or whatever. They put it in this treasure chest. And the boat sunk. It was a sunken ship. So eventually this treasure chest got washed ashore. And it was found at that time. Demin das Rukisa, another thing, Demin das Rukisa, he also became rich. What does this mean? Demin das Rukisa. The Midrash mean on that occasion, according to our school. Okay, it's not really adding anything. That's the third thing. Umim Matronisa, he also became rich through a Matronisa, a very powerful, noble woman in Russian society. This the Gemara doesn't explain, so the Mefarshim say was talking about a time when Rabbi Akiva borrowed money. He was building a yeshiva at one point. He had 24,000 students. Eventually they all died. The Gemara in Vamos says, but apparently for a good amount of time he had a yeshiva. He wanted to build a yeshiva. It takes money to build a yeshiva. So he took a large loan out from somebody, a woman, an important woman in Roman society, and she said, "You'll pay interest, but the guarantors to this loan will be the sea and God." Yes, a religious man. So the day that Rabbi Akiva was supposed to pay the loan, he was sick. He couldn't come pay the loan. She didn't even go to Rabbi Akiva. She went to the sea she went to the sea and she cried out to Hashem. Akiva promised to pay me back. You're the guarantor of the loan. So it happened to be that a treasure chest washed ashore at that time. So she got her loan repaid and then some. The extra then some, the more money that she got, she gave to Rabbi Akiva. In addition, didn't have to repay the loan, so he became rich out of that. That's the fourth thing. On top of Nedarim Avezim, and Ishto Shashal Tarun Rufus, the wife of Tarun Rufus, Tinius Rufus, was the governor of Eretz Yisrael during the time of Hadrian. Hadrian ruled, was the Roman emperor after the Churban Abayis, like between 110 and 137 AD, around that period. So he appointed Terence Rufus, who was the governor in Israel at that point. And he actually, Terence Rufus, was the person who executed Rabbi Akiva. Now, apparently during his lifetime, Tinius Rufus was very upset at Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva would get into arguments, theological arguments with him, and he would beat him publicly in debates, and he was very ashamed at this. So he told his wife to go seduce Rabbi Akiva. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah records that Terence Rufus' wife came to meet Rabbi Akiva, and when he saw her, she was a gorgeous woman. He, even made a praise to Hashem for creating such beautiful creatures in this world. Something, a lot of people in the modern society would like to forget. But the Gemara does say this. He was very ecstatic to see someone so gorgeous, and he attributed it to Kadosh Baruch Hu for creating such beautiful things in the creation. Eventually, he realized that she was there to try to seduce him. He was a strong man. He was a big Talmid Chacham. So she eventually gave in, and she wanted to do tshuva. She asked, what could she do? She had convert, and then convert to Judaism. And eventually, she ended up marrying Rabbi Akiva. But then, I guess to take revenge, the husband murdered Rabbi Akiva. That's the Gemara in Brachos, where all his Talmidim were saying to Rabbi Akiva, Ad Heichan Kvodo Shel Torah. This is the cover of the Torah. And he said, Yatsa Nishmaso. They took metal combs and they were flaying his skin on his head. And when he got to the Makom Tefillin, they killed him. He said, Shema Yisrael, and his Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. When he said Echad, that's not Yatsa Nishmaso. That's when he died. Anyway, before he was executed by Tinius Rufus, he married his wife after she converted. And she, obviously, when you have a divorce, in modern society, you split the possession. So he was a rich governor. She took half the money and gave it to Akiva's estate. Katia Bar Shalom was another story. Again, the Mefarshim bring. He was a Roman nobleman who got into a dialogue with the Caesar. The Caesar basically had a couple of. He didn't like the fact there were Jews living in his empire. He wanted to kill them off. He compared the Jews to gangrene on your foot or something like that. You cut it off, right? And Kediyah Bar Shalom, who was not Jewish, he said maybe it's not such a good idea to kill out the Jews. You kill out the Jews, right? There's a long history of people who try to kill out the Jews. Bad things happen to them. And also he said, your empire will be known as someone who amputates people. It doesn't look good in international geopolitics if you cut out people from your nation. They had liberal values even back then. So he's right, the king said, but because you outdueled me in this debate, so therefore I have to kill you. So while he was waiting to being killed, they were saying to him, it's terrible. You stuck up for the Jews, but you're not even Jewish. You weren't Megayer to Judaism, so you'll never get the reward of Jews. So on his way to be killed, he gave himself a bris milah. And also he said, because he was a rich person, he said half of my possessions should go to, my possessions should go to Rabbi Akiva and his friends. And the Gemara Avodah Zarah says, because he said Rabbi Akiva and his friends, so therefore Rabbi Akiva gets half and his friends get the other half. So that's how he became rich, the sixth way. Rav Gamda, a similar story. Rav Gamda gave, apparently, they needed something. They were on a ship, a cruise ship, and they had 4 coins, and they gave it to the people that were sailors. Bring me something. Bring me some food, a drink. They didn't find anything to bring. They brought him a monkey instead. Curious George. The monkey ran away, like Curious George goes into his. I read Curious George to my kids all the time for the nighttime bedtime story. I like it. I don't know. I think it's better than the other books they have. The Cat in the Hat, definitely better than Bears Named Bears, and what's the other one I have? Corduroy. Corduroy's not bad. Shtamet al Lacharta Chafru Basrei. So the monkey went into a hole, and they searched after. They dug after. Ashku de Revia al Magalisa. The monkey was sitting on a chest full of pearls. I seen him kulahun. And they brought all the pearls, and they became rich through the pearls. Amrle Bas Kesar le Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya. A similar story about looks. We'll talk about that. The daughter of the Caesar said to Yeshua ben Chananya. Again, this is after the Churban Abayis Rishon. Torah Mefura b'Kli Mechor. You're obviously a big Talmud Chacham. You know a lot of Torah. We'll talk about this morning with Ben Sion. He knew a lot of Torah. You're in a Kli Mechor. He was ugly. Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya was very ugly. Amrle, shouldn't Hashem create you beautiful? Amrle, Limni mibeis havu. Go learn from your father's house. Where do they put the wine? Amrle b'mani de pachra. They put it in earthenware vessels or earthenware, barrels. Amrla kuli alma pachra asan b'mani de pachra. Everyone else stores their wine like that, and also the Caesar stores his wine the same way. Asan achisa b'mani de kasba d'hava. Usually putting it in gold and silver kalim. Azad ramat chamra b'mani de kasba d'hava. So she went ahead and she tested it. She tried putting the wine in gold and silver barrels. Was sorry, the wine went bad. Amar la afo raisa can. Similarly, the Torah is like that, right? If it's earthenware, it's kind of disgusting, right? It's basically stone that's burned in a kiln. So gold and silver are much more precious. So Torah also, you put in an ugly body, it stays better. The wine of the Torah stays better. So she asked further, Vayika Shapir and Megamir, and there's plenty of good-looking Rabbanim that learn and know a lot of Torah. Amarlu Yihabu Sanu Habu Gemirin Tfei. Now there's two ways of understanding this Gemara. Habu Sanu means they were uglier. If they were uglier, they would learn better. They would retain more. If they were, or they hated, a different explanation that the article gives from the Mefarshim is that they hated their looks. Even if they're good looking, but they hated their looks. They didn't want to look good. It was unfortunate that Hashem created them good looking, but they didn't give importance to it. The real reason being, according to the Mefarshim, is that if you're not good looking or you hate the fact that your appearance, you don't give importance to it, so you have more humility. And when there's more humility, you're able to retain more Torah. So it's hard to understand this Gemara. I mean, it's a hard Gemara to understand. I'll explain it more in Yil Ben Sion. A certain person came from Yehuda, Minaharda, Ladina, from Naharda, for a din Torah, Eschayvet min dina. And the woman, she was liable to pay. She was found liable to pay. Amar lei Shmuel Rabcha Hechidana. Now Rabbi Yehuda was the Talmud of Shmuel. He said, Shmuel, your Rebbe, he would have made the judgment like this. He probably would have acquitted me. Amar lei Yadat lei. He said to her, you know who he is? Amar lei in. Yeah, I know who he is. Gutza. He's very short. Varaba Kreise. He's very fat. Ukam. He's dark skinned. Varaba Shine. He has long teeth. Amar lei Levzuye Kasis. You're coming. The reason you're mentioning Shmuel is to embarrass him. Heavy Ahisa B'Shamta. This woman should be in need of Paka of a Mesa. Her internal metaphysical self blew up and she ended up dying. I think this Gemara is just brought along to show that Shmuel was also a big rabbi, wasn't the best looking. This is a continuation of the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that if you ask yourself from certain types of tafshil, you're a mutter in Beisa Tormita. Why? Why Beisa Tormita? What is Beisa Tormita? Amar Shmuel, Avda de Avidla Shave Alba Dinri. An Eved who's able to make such an egg. It's very hard to make this egg. We'll see in a second. He's worth 1,000 dinarim to pay for an Eved who can make this egg. It's a real. You have to be a real craftsman to be able to do it. What do? You take the egg, you put it 1,000 times in hot water, and 1,000 times in cold water, until it becomes so small, you can swallow it in one swallow. Why is it so good? It goes. You ingest it in order that in your digestive system, it's able to pick up. It's almost like a blood test to pick up any infection that you have in your body, and either when it comes out of your body, either through excrement or you throw it up. Not clear from the Gemara. And basically, it was for medicinal purposes that the doctor would examine the egg after it came out of the person's system and know what infection he has, how to treat it. Like my mitzi, and what you can give to heal it. Shmuel have a badik nafshe bekulcha. Shmuel didn't have this specific beitza, but he had something else. He had kulcha, which is maybe a piece of head of cabbage, and he would do the same thing. He would ingest it and either vomit it out or examine it after he went to the bathroom. Adam and Sarin the people, the woman in his house, they would misastrin. They had braids in their hair. They would take out the braids. They would be so. They felt bad for Shmuel. Shmuel would do this. He would cause himself to vomit up this cabbage. They couldn't take living with it. It was disgusting for them. Not Hasam. Aya Osa Beklufasin. There's a Mishnah in Mesachas Maestros. If people were working on klufasin, which are the certain types of figs, lo yachal b'no shava. Right, you can only eat a poel who's working in the field. He's allowed to eat from whatever he's working on, but he can't eat from something he's not working on. B'no sheva. If he's working on a type of figs, b'no sheva lo yachal b'klufasin. He shouldn't eat klufasin, even though they're both figs. They're different types of figs. My klufasin. What is klufasin? Minat the abdin mino and lipti. It's a type of fig that you can make a specific dish, a cooked food of figs. So gavra diyav abdal lechavre lagmure alpa mine lapti. He gave his eved, he borrowed his eved to his friend. He loaned him to his friend, and he wanted his friend to teach him. He paid his friend to teach him 1,000 types of fig dishes. Agmure to make them. Agmure tmani mea. He only taught him 800. Azmane ladina. He came in front of Beis Din, like I made the Rebbe in front of Rebbe. I'm a Rebbe. I was saying, no, Amar Amru. In front of Rebbe, he said this guy is supposed to teach him another 200 dishes. He only learned 800 dishes. He didn't buy kosher.com recipe book or whatever. So he doesn't know all the dishes. I'm a Rebbe. I was saying no Amru Nashina Tova. I don't feel Beninu L'Ra'inu. He said you can't make this chaychayu. Even in the previous generations, right? People were complaining we lost the luxuries of yesteryear. Nowadays, we're not even accustomed to such luxuries, so you can't even expect such a thing. Rebbe, even though Rebbe wasn't extravagant when it comes to other people, for himself as being the Nasi, he kind of was. Little Shimon bar Rebbe, he made a wedding for Shimon Rebbe. Because of Beis Ganana, Eshin Varba Alfin Ribuyin Dinarin Nafkal Beis Ganana Dain. His student Bar Kapar was very upset that he wasn't invited. It sounded like Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. If you listen to my show, All in the Mishpacha, we talked about it this week about people not inviting other people to specific parties that they're supposed to be invited to. Bar Kapar was very insulted that he wasn't invited to the wedding of Rebbe. Now Rebbe, who just said that in our days we're not accustomed to luxuries, he spent, according to the Gemara, according to Bar Kapara at least, he spent 24,000 ribuyin. Now, 24,000, a ribuyin is 10,000. So 24,000 times 10,000 equals, I don't know, a lot. I don't know, close to $1 billion on his dinar, on the wedding. He had 1,000-piece orchestra. Well, let's do this. 24,000 times 10 is 240,000. Times 100 is 2.4 million. Times 1,000 is 24 million. Times 10,000, $240 million. 240 dinarim without inflation. It was before inflation. Imagine what he spent on the wedding of his son. It's crazy. We think people are spending too much money nowadays. What did Rebbe spend? And because he wrote that on graffiti. He wrote it on the outside of the wedding hall. He spent so much money he couldn't afford to invite his student Bar Kapar. We'll see tomorrow the relationship between Bar Kapar and Rebbe, an unusual relationship. He said, if for someone like Rebbe who doesn't do the Ratan Hashem, he's not inviting his student Bar Kapara, Hashem gives such wealth. Certainly for people like me who do Ratan Hashem will be so rich. Azmane, when he heard this, Rabbi decided, okay, I'll invite Bar Kapara. Amar, once he got invited, now Rabbi became Osei Raton Hashem, that he did Raton Hashem by inviting Bar Kapara. So if someone like Rabbi who does the Raton Hashem has such extravagant wealth, in Olam Hazeh, Kol Shekei in Olam Haba, his wealth will be even more extravagant. Hope you enjoyed today's share. Stay tuned for Enoch Ben Sino. We discuss an interesting Gemara over here that apparently being ugly contributes to help you become a bigger Torah scholar. Is this true or not? I'll tell you my opinion. Enoch Ben Sino coming up next.